Hey everybody, it's Gus from Skewed Reviews, and it's Saturday, so you know what that means. It's a new episode of Cinema Society Saturday. Now, if you don't know what that is, this is where a group of us who absolutely love horror movies have all come together. Now, each week we are randomly given a theme. We then partner up, give our partner a movie that fits within the theme, and then we review those movies for all of you. So the theme for this week ended up being perfect for this month because when you think of November, you of course think of sun, beaches, vacation. No, actually, you don't really think about any of those things. Well, anyway, our theme for this week is summer. So these are movies that either take place in or are about summertime. Now, my partner for this week is, of course, your spooky ghoul friend, Ashley, also known as Creepy Crawlies. Now, if you're not already following her, definitely go and do so. She has some really fun and interesting content. She's also another person that I do Creature Madness with, and you should check out some of those videos as well. So, for this week's theme of summer, my partner Ashley gave me the film of Midsommar from 2019, directed and written by Ari Aster. What's funny is when I got assigned this movie, I literally typed into the Discord channel, finally, because this movie had been on my watch list for quite some time, and it kept getting really close to being one I would watch next, and then it just didn't end up happening. So thank you so much, Ashley, for getting me to finally sit down and watch this movie. Now, as to why I did take so long to watch this, I think it was two reasons. Number one, it's directed and written by Ari Aster, which I'll be honest, some of his technique or his style does seem to be a bit elevated or kind of artsy, or I don't know, even maybe a little bit pretentious. But that was part of it. The other part was is I had heard this was a longer movie, and it does clock in right around 2.5 hours. So it was like, ooh, I really want to give some time to this and also not watch it too late at night because then I might fall asleep during it. So that's mainly why it took so long for me to get to this. I will say, now that I finally got an opportunity to watch this, this was a lot better than I thought it was going to be. Now, let me tell you a little bit more about the concept to see if this is something that you'd like to check out for yourselves. So, the film starts off with one of our main characters, Danny. Now, she already has been dealing with a lot emotionally, and she's also really worried that her boyfriend, Christian, is about to leave her. Now, it turns out that she's probably leaning in the right direction on that, as it seems like Christian and his friends are about to take a vacation to Sweden, and he's kind of ready to be single again. Now, right when it seems like Christian may actually be ready to break it off with her, a horrifying tragedy ends up happening to Danny's family. And this, of course, causes Christian to feel the need to actually stick around with her, which you kind of understand though at the same time, just the horrifying event that she just went through. She has no one else to turn to, so he feels necessary to be there for her. But at the same time, he really does this in the worst way possible, and he's going about it in such a bad way. We do end up discovering that Christian is not a great guy either. He kind of guilt shames his way into being able to still do this Swedish vacation with his friends slash roommates, Josh, Mark, and Pell. And then he, in a weird twist, decides to invite Danny along. I don't know if it's just because he feels guilty, but this was just not the right decision. So these five friends are now off on their way to Sweden, as Pell is actually from there, and he lived with a community and is coming back for an annual tradition of Midsommar and wants all of his friends to be able to be involved with this. Once they finally get to this commune, which is pretty much in the middle of nowhere, things do feel a bit odd and strange at first, but they begin to start enjoying and almost respecting what the traditions and different rituals are that are happening here. However, though, as this is clearly a horror movie, things begin to take a really awkward cult like turn and become absolutely horrifying for those involved. So, when it comes to the story, I'm not really going to say anything else from here. I will just allow you to find out more whenever you decide to sit down and watch this. What I do want to say about this movie is that I was impressed by the use of the time. And what I mean by that is this is a 2.5 hour long movie. And there are a lot of films out there that when they are around that or even longer, I sit there and I go, well, you could cut this out or you could change that. And you could whittle this down to make this movie a little bit more digestible. But strangely enough, I felt like Midsommar did a really good job of using all of that time. Like, I don't feel like there was a wasted moment. Everything was telling a story or showcasing this culture. And I was just very impressed by that. Now, I don't think this is going to be a movie that everyone enjoys, but I do recommend checking it out. Now, I also don't know if I had on my Swedish tinted glasses while watching this, as I am primarily Swedish, and I found it fascinating just from that aspect of where this was taking place and the kind of history and culture of this, but I do still think it is worth watching. So, at least for me on my scale, I'm going to give this movie a 4 out of 5. If you want to check it out for yourselves, it is currently streaming for free on HBO Max. Now, once more, I am going to mention definitely go and start following Ashley if you're not already doing so. Let's try to see if we can get her up to 4,000 followers. And another great reason to go and check out her content is to see the review for the movie that I gave her, which was Blood Beach from 1980. I hope you enjoyed my review for Midsommar, and if you'd like to see what everyone else did for their summer setting reviews, go ahead and look up the hashtag Cinema Society Saturday.